Quoting for Ibn Sina, there is no incurable disease, just lack of willpower. There are no worthless herbs, just lack of knowledge.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dear Your Excellencies, delegates, ladies and gentlemen.
The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta, Dr. Sri Sundari Icmhs.
The Honorable Head of Focal 7 International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences 2023, Dr. Ardi Pramono, SPN Icmhs.
Our respected keynote speakers, Professor Malika Imwong, Dr. Denny Eman, Mr. Chiwen Lung PhD.
And all distinguished guests who were present to enliven the event.
Welcome to Indonesia's biggest medical conference, the 7th International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences,
with this year's theme,
Global Medical Collaboration in Society 5.0 Era. From the host program of Medicine Studies, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Sugeng Rawu.
My name is Resha Aulia.
And I am Anissa Sani.
And we will be your master of ceremony for today's session. First of all, let us praise the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us health and mercy, so that we can gather online and offline at this event.
Also, not forget, salawat and greetings are always poured out to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us as his people to a bright era.
On behalf of the programs brought, we extend our greatest appreciation to everyone for being able to participate in this unveiling event.
It is a remarkable moment that soon we will discover great collaboration among innovators who have dedicated their time and space for reaching sustainable development goals for the better of our future.
We welcome you to Indonesia, especially in this alluring, admirable city of Yogyakarta. So as a Yogyakarta, residents ourselves as Javanese, allow us to extend our welcome greetings.
Yogyakarta is a special province within one of Indonesia's 34 provinces and is the foremost cultural centers of Indonesia and home to majestic temples and palaces. Yogyakarta was known with the slogan of Jogja, the never-ending Asia, for its endless appeals. And today, it is also renowned as Jogja Istimewa, meaning the wonderful Jogja, a tagline that elaborates its special values.
International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences, an international conference organized by the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences in University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. This event is expected to allow academics, scientists, regulators, practitioners, and any stakeholders around the world to exchange ideas or highlight innovation. In our 7th International Conference, we will uncover the latest and most advanced of innovation in biomedical science, medicine, public health, and medical education towards achieving sustainable development goals.
For today's agenda, we will have
the first agenda is greetings, and the next agenda is reciting the Holy Quran,
and the next agenda is singing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, Sang Surya, and Mars Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta.
The next agenda is welcoming speech by Dean of Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta.
The next agenda is welcoming speech by Head of Vocal 7 International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences 2023.
And the next session is plenary session of the 7th International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences. For the first speaker, we have Dr. Denny Eman, Head of Data Integration Center at Jena University Hospital.
For the second speaker, we have Professor Malika Imwong from Mahidol University, Thailand.
And for the third speaker, we have Mr. Chi Wen Leung, PhD from Asia University.
And the next agenda is Q&A session.
And the last agenda is closing. For the time efficiency, let us start our event by recitation Holy Quran that will be delivered by Rahma Amalina, reciting Quran Surah Ali Imran verses 189 until 194.
Cek. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walillahi mulkus samawati wal ardh. Wallahu ala kulli syai'in qadir. Inna fi khalqis samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil laili wan nahari la ayatin li ulil albab. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار Rabbana innaka man tudkhilin nar faqad akhzaitah wa ma lidh-dhalimina min ansar. Rabbana innana sami'na munadiyan lil iman yunadiya lil imani an aminu bi rabbikum fa amanna. Rabbana faghfir lana dhunubana wa kaffir anna sayyiatina wa tawaffana ma'al abrar. Rabbana wa atina ma wa'adtana ala rusulika wa la tukhzina yawmal qiyamah innaka la tukhliful mi'ad. Shadaqallahul azim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A heartfelt recitation. Thank you, Rahma.
Move to the next agenda. Please rise for National Anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, followed by Sang Surya and Mars Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Please, to all the guests, to rise from your seat. To all the guests, please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, move to the next agenda. Welcoming speech from Dean of Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Dr. Sri Sundari Icmhs. For Dr. Sri Sundari, place and time all yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable all of the speaker, Dr. Jani M1 from the Icmhs University Hospital, Prof. Malika M. Wong from Mahidol University, Thailand, and Mr. Chu Wen Long, PhD from Asia University. Honorable the Head of Vocal of Icmhs, Dr. Adi Pramono, Spesialis Anestesi, Magister Kesehatan. Honorable the Medical Scientist, Head Practitioner, and dear all of the conference attendants. Warm greeting and welcome to the opening of the medical conference Icmhs with the theme of Global Medical Collaboration in 5.0 Society. The event thus presenting today is the result of an extraordinary collaboration between various parties with the aim of encouraging global collaboration in the medical world to answer the challenges of current trend. Along with the rapid development of technology and increasingly tight global interconnection, we are now entering the area of Society 5.0, where technology and human are increasingly integrated to create profound positive impact in various aspects of life, including the health sector. This era demands us to look further, think more creatively, and work hardly in overcoming health problems that are increasingly complex and varied. This Icmhs medical conference is not just a scientific gathering. It is also a platform for inspiration, sharing of the latest knowledge, and opportunities for cross-border partnership. Together, we can answer crucial questions about how to use advanced technology such as artificial intelligence, big data analytics, telemedicine to improve health services, diagnose disease more accurately, and formulate innovative solutions that can help society. It is important for us to recognize that challenges related to health knowledge have to national boundaries or geography. The global spread of disease, increasing rate of chronic disease, and new health threats that are constantly emerging a wake-up call for all of us to unite and work together. With close collaboration, we can transcend our differences and focus on common goal, global well-being. I would like to thank to all those who have been involved in organizing this conference, starting from organizer, sponsor, speaker, and of course, all of you who have taken the time to be here. Let's make the best of this opportunity, discuss, share knowledge, and build collaborative network that will have long-time positive impact. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Dr. Sri Sundari for a warm welcoming speech.
Proceeding to the next agenda, welcoming speech from Head of Focal 7 International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences 2023, Dr. Ardi Pramono, SPN Icmhs. For Dr. Ardi Pramono, place and time all yours.
The Excellency Rector, Dean, Head of the Medicine Study Program, all speakers, ladies and gentlemen, and all participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let us begin by offering our highest praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His grace that has allowed us all together at the 7th International Conference on Medicine and Health Sciences. We also want to send greetings and pray that His safety, health, and grace always surround us. Dear audience, at this very meaningful moment, the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, together thankfully with the American Institute of Physics, humbly welcome all of you to this extraordinary event. With pride and joy, we held the 7th Icmhs conference with such an important and relevant theme, global collaboration to the Society 5.0 era. We hope that this seminar will become an inspiring forum where brilliant ideas and the latest breakthrough can be shared and explored together. Exchange of knowledge and interaction here as the best opportunity to broaden your horizons and grateful collaboration. Before closing this speech, we would like to thank all those who have contributed to the holding of this event, as well as to all of you who have taken the time and energy to attend this event, both online and offline. Thank you. As the chairman of the 7th Icmhs, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Ardi, for the great welcome speech and insight.
Ladies and gentlemen, as everybody can't wait for our plenary session and for our three speakers to deliver fruitful and insightful knowledge, so here we will introduce you to our moderator, Dr. Nova Mariani, SPN MMR.
Dr. Nova Mariani, MMR, is anesthesiologist and as a lecturer of Faculty of Medical and Health Sciences, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, born at Pontianak, November 13, 1984.
She completed her doctoral program at University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta and finished her master degree at majoring in hospital management. Finished her anesthesia specialist program at RSUP Dr. Sarjito, University Gajah Mada, Yogyakarta on 2019. And recently, she is ongoing her study to obtain the Consultant of Intensive Care at RSUP Dr. Sarjito, University Gajah Mada.
Her top areas of expertise are anesthesiology, intensive care, emergency, and sepsis. Dr. Nova active in clinical research in the past 5 years, which consists of co-authoring 11 peer-reviewed articles and participating in community service since 2020.
She will take the lead from now on. Please welcome Dr. Nova Mariani as the moderator of plenary session of 7th International Conference of Medical and Health Sciences 2023.
Check, check. Okay. Thank you for the MC, very beautiful. Our student from medical school. Okay. Welcome to the Icmhs, our plenary session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For all the participants, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. All of you. Okay. Everyone, my name is Nova Mariani. I will be your moderator for the next 1.5 hours today. And I would like to welcome all the participants offline, online, and all the innovators, all the medical from our academic and for gathering today in the regrets of the International Conference on Medical and Health Sciences 2023. And within these years, the theme is a global medical collaboration in society 5.0 era. And for you know that we have to striving for the showcasing new knowledge. Of course, this field is very, very new for us and very informative from around the world from our 3 speakers and for us to learn and develop for the future medicine. Okay. I have to introduce you our outstanding 3 keynote speaker that will share their feature or live presentations today. And let me introduce to us. Can we get the online for our 2 speakers, please, the committee, so I can see the 2 speakers. The first speaker is a Dr. Danny Amon. Okay, hey, hello. Say hello to the audience here. Get applause to him. Yeah, we have so many from you. Okay, he's a doctor from doctor from the Germany that held the title of the Head Data Integration Center at the Jena University Hospital, Germany, and as a cooperation of the Information Technology Business Division and the Institute for Medical Statistics, Computer and Data Sciences. Wow, that's very difficult field, yeah, for us. Okay, next we have the second speaker. Maybe Prof. Malika can say hello to the audience here. Prof. Malika already joined? Okay. Our second speaker, Prof. Malika Imong, she is a professor in department. Okay, say hello, Prof. Malika. Hello. She is a professor from in the Department of Molecular Tropical Medicine and Genetics, Faculty of Tropical Medicine, Mahidol University, Thailand. Thank you for staying here, okay? And our third speaker, a professor and chair in the Asia University, Taichung, Taiwan's Department of Creative Product Design, and affiliate at the Department of Bioinformatics and Medical Engineering, if I'm not mistaken to pronounce that, Prof. Taiwan, since 2022. Please come forward, Prof. Chiu Wen Lang. Please sit beside me. Give applause to him. Please sit here. Just sit here. Please sit beside me. Okay. Yeah, you will accompany me here, Prof. Lang. Okay. Okay, I will give you a little bit information for all speakers. for the technical note, you have 35 to 45 minutes to give your presentations. Maybe if the slide is very long, you can just cut it. Yeah, okay. And we have 10 minutes to question and answer. For Dr. Danny Amand, we have a first session to question and answer, but both of you, Prof. Long and Prof. Malika, have the both question and answer together. Okay, is it okay? Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after we hear the first speaker, Dr. Danny Amand, please write on the chat as the participants to question and answer. And if you have the questions offline, you can just raise your hands and I will ask you to give your questions here. Is it okay? Or the committee will give you the mic, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to our speaker, Dr. Danny Amand. Are you all ready? Yes, good. I give you a little bit information about him. I will give you a profile first, okay? Dr. Danny Amand studied in computer science and earned his doctorate in medical informatics at Technische Universitas Ilmenio in 2013. Is it correct? After working in and coordinating research projects in the areas of clinical process management, telemedicine, and medical decision support, he has been leading at the Data Integration Center at the IT Department of Vienna University Hospital since 2018. Also, he is a member of Interoperability Circle of Experts at the Coordination Office for Interoperability in the German healthcare system at Icmhs since 2022 until now. Interestingly, in 2015, Dr. Amand received an award from Telemed Award for the contribution use of communication and document standards for network medication management in multi-provisional geriatric psychiatric care, 20th National Forum for Health Telematics and Telemedicine in Berlin. Okay, let's hear now the presentation from Dr. Amand. And the title is Development of Telemedicine and Artificial Intelligence in Health Service. Screen is yours.
Yes, hi everyone. So first of all, is my audio, am I hearable? Is it working?
Yes, that's good. Nice. I hear you. All the audience hear the voice? Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So thank you so much for the warm welcome and for having me today. Greetings from Germany. And I will share my slides for you now because I'm supposed to talk about, yes, development of telemedicine and artificial intelligence in health services. So yeah, so I think I have been introduced already. As said, I am the head of the Data Integration Center in a university hospital in Germany. Data integration centers are new facilities. They have been established since 2018, and they are meant to gap the bridge between healthcare and research, because there are several gaps, right? So organizational gaps, because it's different personnel, and technical gaps, because technical infrastructures between healthcare and research are often fundamentally different. And if you want to do secondary data usage, like use data from the real world data for clinical research, this is often pretty hard to do. And thus we establish data integration centers to, accomplish this task better. But today I want to talk about telemedicine. So what is that? To touch upon these topics, of course, I cannot go really deep into these, but I brought you some examples, mainly from Germany or from my own university hospital, because I'm acquainted with these. So just let's get into the first topic, and that is telemedicine. What is that? I give you an example from the federal state of Thuringia, which is one of the 16 federal states in Germany. And it's actually the state where I'm living and working in. So the blue dot on the map that you see, the left blue dot, is Jena University Hospital. And what you can see here, that Thuringia is mostly country, where people live sparsely. So we have a few big cities like Erfurt, Jena, Weimar. They're all just in the middle of the federal state of Thuringia, and the rest is sparsely populated, but also there live a lot of elderly people. Yeah, and one of the typical diseases that elderly people have are strokes. So, and this is a disease that needs to be treated time critically, right? So when you get a stroke, you need to be treated within minutes to hours as to, yeah, get your brain working again, so to speak. And often in the smaller parts of the country, of the federal state, there are no neurological centers, or there is just little expertise on what to do. And then again, in the bigger cities, we have these stroke centers that are specialized in treating strokes. So how to get the expertise to all of the federal states. So what we did is we have currently 2 specialized stroke centers at Jena University Hospital, the blue dot on the left, and Klinikum Altenburger Land, which is the blue dot to the right, near the border of Thuringia. And they just can be used as partners for bilateral cooperation with the peripheral hospitals. So they in the end, they can just call us, right? It's a video call, just like I'm doing today with you, but also with a mutual ability to take a look at the patient and to take a look at the record of the patient, because that's the patient that needs to be treated, right? So, for example, if an elderly person near Schmalkalden gets a stroke and needs treatment, the people in Schmalkalden, there's a small hospital there, they can consult Jena University Hospital or Klinikum Altenburger Land, where there are specialists for strokes, and they can ask them on how to treat them correctly, right? And therefore, there has been video conferencing and mutual looking at documents. Also, there is a connection between all of these centers to act as a backup for specific neurovascular issues, not only stroke, but also any other kind of invention or surgery or intervention. So if there is a lack of personnel in one of these centers, we help each other out, right? And then in 2020, the pandemic came, COVID-19 pandemic, and we said there is already a cooperation that has been established between all of these smaller and bigger hospitals. Can we use it to treat COVID-19 cases that need intensive care? And so we just broadened the topic and made telecooperation available also for COVID cases, which is called Set4Cov. So we have a functioning network all over Thuringia where telecooperation is working. Let me give you another example. There's the big WeCare project in the region of Thuringia. Why? Again, there is structurally weak regions in Thuringia where a lot of elderly people live, where healthcare is sparse and where personnel is missing. So what can we do? This big funding project, it's federally funded, is divided into several sub-projects. For example, there is a WeCare 2 lab where we like to develop sensory telemedicine to expand the healthcare infrastructure and to be able to have patients wear wearables or sensors that can detect their health and transmit these data to the treating doctors so they know about their patients. We have WeCare at Mobile, where we develop mobile solutions that allow an on-site data collection. So not only wearables or sensors, but also mobile solutions, especially for outpatient nurses that go to the patients and treat them. Maybe they can use these mobile solutions also to treat their patients and to have contact with doctors. WeCare at Home specializes in these treatments and aftercare of the patients in their home environment. So to make personnel, to get new personnel, for example, nurses that are able to visit the patients in their homes. And then last but not least, also education and training of physicians is done. Here in Jena University Hospital, we are encouraging encouraging people that are studying medicine to like work as a doctor in the structurally weak regions because they are needed there, and they even get funding and other encouragement to not stay in the bigger cities or even leave the country, but to work in the structurally weak regions where doctors are urgently needed. So just two examples of what telemedicine is. Let me tell you about types and purposes. It might have already come out that there is teleconsultation, which just means video conferences with experts, right? The doctor is not near the patient, but he's in another location or she's in another location, and they are consulted via video conference, just like I'm talking to you. But there are also remote procedures with the patients, like telediagnostics or teletherapies, or not only just talking to someone, but also remote procedures like an operation that is guided from afar, something like that. Then I talked to you about remote monitoring of patients. The patients, for example, stay in their home and they are monitored. And if something goes wrong, they can act like for time critical disease treatment. And what all of this needs, it might have become clear right now, as digital data exchange. Because if you cannot together view the patient or the patient data, the patient documents, then you would be missing like half of the story, right? Because of the patient and all the information around the patient. What kind of medication is the patient taking? What kind of diseases does he have? How is he or she looking today? How are they behaving? Can they answer to questions? All of that needs digital data exchange. If we don't have that, we do not have telemedicine. Next topic I wanted to talk about to you is artificial intelligence. And that is now become a hype, right? It's in the minds of everyone. And how is it in all of our imagination? Like today, when we think about artificial intelligence, many people think of ChatGPT. They think of text generators from large language models, or they think maybe of image generators that are also all over the internet. And here, for example, I just asked ChatGPT to write a discharge summary for me for a patient which had kidney stones. And of course, ChatGPT could do that. It gave the structure of the whole discharge letter to me. And this is, of course, a disruptive innovation that will change the way people in the hospital will work nowadays. They won't have to write a discharge summary on their own, or they won't have to rely on pre-made text, because they can just give the information to any large language model. It must not be ChatGPT in Germany, for example, because that is an online service and you are not allowed to give the patient data to this online service. But these kind of language models, they can be integrated into hospital information systems, into the systems you work with today, and then you can use it to write a discharge summary. So this is in our imagination today, but artificial intelligence, of course, is much more. I give you an example from Jena University Hospital. We have implemented a neural network that learns from experience, and it can generate computer tomography images with a higher sharpness than before. So it just enhances the pictures that the doctors are viewing to diagnose the patient, right? And the artificial intelligence that is used here, it's a deep learning model, and it recognizes patterns and regularities in these images, and it develops further based on these, so it improves over time. And it is actually the world's first routine use of a medical device with artificial intelligence. That means it is a finished product. There's a lot of research on artificial intelligence and deep learning today, right? But what we are all waiting for, and what I told you about earlier when I said about writing discharge letters from your hospital information systems, these are finished products. And this is what's actually needed, right? As an outcome from the research in artificial intelligence, we want products that we can use in routine. And in the European Union, we have the medical device regulation, which is actually pretty complicated and heavy regulation on these kinds of products. So to fulfill the requirements of these regulation is not an easy task, But the first products, what I want to tell you is that the first products now have reached this state and artificial intelligence is arriving in healthcare. But I told you about research, and of course in Jena we are also like researching artificial intelligence. I give you an example. We have a junior research group for medical informatics that is working at predictive analytics and data-driven artificial intelligence, mainly for the logistical support of healthcare processes. Why did they choose this area? All the logistical support does not necessarily need to work with patient data, or at least not with health-related patient data that is related to the treatment of the patient. It's just related to maybe the transport of the patient. Or another field of application is the prediction of blood product consumption, right? There are people who are donating their blood to be used in big operations, or patients that had an accident, for example, and they need blood product. And there are like changes in the amount of blood products that we have over the year. So there are times when we are stacked with blood products and everything goes smooth. And whenever a patient arrives that needs a blood product, it's all fine. And then there are times over the year where blood products run low and we desperately need new donors. So we ask for them to donate more blood and other products. And if there was an algorithm that could predict that, like over the next few months, blood products will become low because there will be a lot of patients, like what we learned from the last years, then we could maybe like even earlier try to get these blood products and do not run into problems. Another example would be the prediction of the patient volume in the emergency department. If there was a prediction like this, like what can be learned from the last years is that maybe today or this week or this month, there will be an enhanced volume of patients arriving in the emergency department. Then people could react to this with like more staff being present during the days or weeks where there are more patients, and less staff being present when there are not so many patients expected. Why are we researching into this? It is a field where the EU medical device regulation does not necessarily need to apply it, because as I told you, it's not so much about the health data of a certain concrete patient, but about predictions and route optimizations for patient transport also. So this is all research. It's not finished products yet, but it's just as the example I showed you before, it is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is not just text processing. That is of course, an important part and gets bigger and bigger. In medicine and nursing and therapy, we are often dealing with a lot of free text. So if this could be processed by the computer, like fully understood, and also speech could be recognized and text could be generated, that would be a lot of help for medical documentation, I think. But there is also medical imaging. This is maybe the first and even the biggest application of artificial intelligence in healthcare now, image improvement and also feature detection. For example, detecting cancer in some kind of images, be it macro images of a person's thorax or micro images in pathology. That is a very modern and known application of artificial intelligence in healthcare. But also, like the last example I showed you from the research group, forecasts the demands of resources or the demand of an intensification of treatment, like this certain patient, based on all the data I have from this patient and what is learned from the past, treatment would be necessary because the condition of this patient will worsen in the next days. So as an early alerting system for the people that are treating this patient, this would also be some kind of very helpful artificial intelligence. And these are applications in healthcare of artificial intelligence that are either products that can be used like today, like I told you, or they are in research state and we await for them to be available as products so we can use them in our everyday medical treatment. And then the last thing that was in the title of my presentation is health services. So if you want to apply telemedicine, if you want to apply artificial intelligence, what is needed? And you can subsume this under an acronym that's been used a lot today, mainly in clinical research, but in my opinion, it can also be like translated to healthcare, and it is the FAIR principles. It's about data, about patients, or about whatever you need in healthcare to be findable. Like the question is, where are the data which are needed? Are they in the hospital information system? Are they in any sensors that the patient is wearing or are applied to the patient? Where are the data which are needed? And then about access, about data being accessible. How do we access these data? Are there any permissions needed? Is there any transmission needed? Because the patient is having a wearable and data needs to get to the doctor that is treating the patient. And then about interoperability. In what format do we process this data? Can it be understood? Is it just a value and we need to know what value this is? Or is it in an interoperable format so that the data is practically describing itself? And then last but not least, the reuse aspect. How can we make use of the data created? Is it only for treatment, or can we do more with it? Because all of this collection of data, transmission of data, processing of data is of course an expensive and time-consuming task. So if there's any options of secondary use and more applications of this, more benefits of getting these data, it would be worth it to get the data. So the FAIR principles, I think, also apply to data in healthcare. And what does it mean? Let me give you more examples from Germany. If it's about where are the data and how to get to the data, we will establish an electronic patient record in Germany where documents and data are available through a mobile app for any citizen. This app is provided by the health insurance company. It's actually already in use. So on my iPhone, I do have this app. I can use it, but it's not widely used yet. And some of the interoperability standards that are needed for the documents and data in this mobile app are still in development. But we are relying, as you can see on the picture, heavily on international standards like HL7 FHIR or semantic standards, which I will be talking about in a second. So the contents of this patient record are called medical information objects, and we started by digitizing objects that we already have as paper. In Germany, when you are pregnant, you get a maternity log. It's a small, paper-based thing that you get, and whenever you visit a doctor, data will be put in there with pen and paper, right? It's the same with immunization. When I got my COVID shots, this is in a yellow little paper that I get it stamped, I get a signature of the doctor, and I get a little sticker from the certain vaccine that I got. It's all on paper, and also lab results and anything else. We are slowly beginning to digitize that. And why slowly? Because everything needs to be GDPR compliant, right? Because this is the legislative thing that is protecting patient data. So there is an opt-in process. I need to actively say, yes, I do want to use this record. There is a purpose limitation. It can only be used for treatment. There is a data minimization legal basis. So only the data which is really needed is to be put on this patient record. And then there are other aspects like necessity and confidentiality that are relevant, but it answers to question about where to find the data. Because when I go to from one doctor to another, and the first doctor has prescribed like drugs to me that I have to take every day, and I go to another doctor, they won't know about this. But if I bring my patient record, then in the future, I can just give this information digitally to them. Another example about how to access data. there is a big telematics infrastructure in Germany. It's a card-based security infrastructure. It's working by these cards that you can see in the lower right. My doctor has one, and I do have one. It's actually my insurance card. And there's a virtual private network. It was planned since 2002 and established only at 2018. So you can see the many years that go into this digital transformation process. But nowadays, doctors, dentists, psychotherapists, hospitals, pharmacies, health insurance companies, all of them, they have access to this infrastructure, and there are also applications. So just starting next year, there will be an electronic prescription. We won't have these little small pink papers anymore that are handed out today. When I get a drug prescribed at my general practitioner, I get handed out a little pink paper where the prescription is on, and with that paper I walk into the pharmacy and I hand it over, and they just redigitize it. They put the information that's on there with a barcode in their system, and this is gonna change. So document sharing can be done digitally, and until 2025 we also are trying to give up on all this card-based security infrastructure and use it more user-friendly, more interoperable, also with the smart devices. So this is something that's underway just to get access to the data. And last but not least, interoperability is, I think, the biggest topic when it's about how can we get to the data, how can we transmit data. The simplest way to divide interoperability into different categories would be organizational interoperability. This is about technical processes, like the process I just told you about, digital medication. How is it done? I walk to the general practitioner of mine. I get maybe diagnosed with a new disease. There is a treatment. There is medication for this disease. So I get prescribed a certain medication. And then I need to walk to the pharmacy on my own and then get this medication. And then again at home, maybe 3 times a day, I need to take a drug. And maybe I want to record that I have taken it or that I have missed it. And all of this can be done digitally. And if you do it, that is a process, and it's a technical process. And there are standards development organizations worldwide, like IHE, Integrating the Healthcare Enterprise, or HL7, or the PCHA, more for wearables and smart devices. That is the last icon under organization that are dealing with these processes. But it's not only about process, it's of course about transmitting data via interoperable protocols or formats. And here HL7, of course, is a big player with the FHIR resources that are nowadays also a kind of disruptive innovation. But there's also the clinical document architecture from HL7. And not only if you have stored certain data in a FHIR server, how to query that, how to put queries onto that server as to get to the data. And there are certain query languages, like FHIR search, which is just REST-based search, like it is done all over the internet. But there is also HL7 CQL, for example. It's called Clinical Quality Language, and it's for applications, for example, in public health, where you might want to have more data, big data, for several cohorts of patients. Then you might use this query type. And then, last but not least, medical contents need to be made interoperable. And how is this done so that data practically describes itself when it is transmitted? You can do this via international semantic standards like LOINC, mainly for laboratory values or observations. And SNOMED City, which is actually a whole medical ontology where any aspect of medicine has a certain code where it can be described. And if you deliver this code, in these code systems with the data, it is describing itself, because worldwide, if I put a certain LOIN code that stands for hemoglobin in blood measured there, everyone worldwide would know that this data that is now being transmitted is nothing but a hemoglobin observation of a certain patient. So all these 3 aspects of interoperability working together, they achieve, with these you can achieve that data being transmitted or used in applications like telemedicine or artificial intelligence would be usable no matter where in the world you are, no matter which product you want to use, no matter what vendor your hospital information system has, and so on. Interoperability is the basis, in my opinion, to achieve products like telemedicine products or artificial intelligence products. So last but not least, let me shortly talk to you about the Medical Informatics Initiative in Germany, which is the data integration centers. I just told you about that in the beginning. I am working there and I am trying to make healthcare data usable for clinical research. And the only point I want to make here is we are using the same interoperability standards for another application, for secondary data usage of healthcare data in research. And if we do just the same with the interoperability standards, we can just use the same products. We can establish interfaces to hospital information systems to just get to the data and then do research with that. And often the people that want to do research with that are the same doctors that during the day are doing healthcare. And for example, during the night, they want to do research with the same patients, with the same healthcare data. So why not employ the same interoperability standards and principles behind all that? And then all over Europe, there's also something that is established in the next years. It's called the European Health Data Space. And it is actually also dealing with the same problems. There will be a primary application. It's called MyHealth@EU. And it's just about what if I go on vacation in another country in the EU, not Germany, and I have an accident there and I need to be treated. And then maybe I have I'm chronically ill. I have a disease that my doctor there needs to know about. Maybe I have medication that I take every day that the doctor there needs to know about. How to accomplish that? Interoperability, telemedicine, and so on would be the basis to achieve that. And then there's also secondary data usage. It's called Health Data@EU. It is planned for what I just told you about the data integration centers in Germany, to make all of this data also available to research with the patient's consent. So that's a big initiative that's not only in Germany, but also all over the EU. And it's actually in the process of being built up. So there's nothing technical specified yet, but we are expecting that it also uses the same basis of interoperability that I just told you about in Germany for telemedicine, for artificial intelligence, and so on, so that it all comes together on the same basis. And that's what's important, because if it's all the same basis, then all invests there would be made for several use cases, like in the federal state of Thuringia, as well as all over Germany, as well as all over the EU, all at the same time. So what about a conclusion? Telemedicine and artificial intelligence in health services need healthcare data. If you don't have that, you won't be able to make telemedicine or artificial intelligence work. So you need to know about the process. Who does what with whom, and what do they need? This is the beginning of all, and it's not technical. It's not a technical question. It's a question that only the people that are involved in the process can answer correctly. So any technical work needs to start with the people that are to work and that are to use the data that we are talking about, that are to apply telemedicine or artificial intelligence. And then the contents, they are often starting with summaries of patient data. Like, for example, in the EU, the EJDS I just told you about, or the patient record in Germany, they are all relying on something. It's called the International Patient Summary. It's the standard. It's expressed in FHIR, but also in other technical standard. But the IPS, you can look it up, is a certain basis, because all I told you about in the examples before, like me being treated in another country and having a chronic disease, having long-time medication, that's all specified in the International Patient Summary. It's exactly for that. So in the next step, you need to get an understanding about formats and terminologies, like I told you about. Then it's all about infrastructure. Where do you store all this data? How can you establish on-demand sharing of this? An example of the infrastructure that needs to be built up, I just told you about in Germany, about the telematics infrastructure. Another thing that you need to be concerned about is user privileges, because at the end, the data is being generated through the patient. If there would be no patient, there would be no data. So the patient is the data owner and the permission provider, at least with the legislation in Germany and in the European Union. But I think this is a worldwide thing, that the patient needs to be involved in all of this data sharing, because at the end, it's their data. And then with all of this, I also told you about how not easy it is to establish all these infrastructures, to achieve interoperability, and then to, on top, put these products like for telecooperation or for employing artificial intelligence. That needs planning, that needs a roadmap, and then there you have a certain conflict between ever evolving modern technologies, where we get more and more modern applications, like this disruptive introduction of large language models I just told you about, like ChatGPT. It just, the technology is decades old, but it just appeared last November. ChatGPT just appeared, and all of a sudden, it's on all of our minds, right? So there was a kind of disruption with this technology, and that can happen like next month again with some more disruptive technology. So how can you do long-term planning when modern technologies arrive like this? There is a certain conflict into that, and you need to deal with that. And that often doesn't make it easy for all these technologies to be conceived properly. So in my opinion, the solution to this is also, again, like an underlying long-term infrastructure and basis of interoperable data that can be used by modern and disruptive products, so that like services like telemedicine and artificial intelligence can be made to work for a certain doctor, for a certain nurse in their actual situation. Because at the end, all of this technical stuff is used to improve and enhance nursing, daycare, medicine, all of this stuff. And that's what we want to make it work for, right? So I just put some links here. If you're interested in pursuing this anymore, feel free to click on these. And of course, at this end of my talk, I am here for any questions that might have arisen. Feel free to pose them to me now, and I'll be happy to answer them. But first of all, thank you so much for listening to me and for your attention. And now on to any questions of yours. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the chat or from the audience offline? No? On the chat, can you give me? If you want to ask the question, just raise your hand, give your name. Okay, please. Your name? Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for presentation, Doctor. My name is Rizky. I will ask about AI technology. We know AI technology is extraordinary in medicine. Will human doctor be marginalized by the existence of AI? Will all sick people be actually expanded by AI? So what do you think about that, Doctor? Thank you.
Can you hear the voice?
Thank you so much for the question. Yes, I think it's a very important question, actually. And it's actually not only in healthcare. People are worried about being replaced by AI. And in my opinion, that does not work. Like, any application that I just talked about, that I just told you about, they were just examples, right? But which every example, I think, exemplifies is that you definitely need a human person to work together with this AI. It's the same with ChatGPT. If you try to make it work on its own, it will not work. If I don't check the discharge summary that ChatGPT gives me, it might contain errors, right? Also, AI is not error-free. And any product in healthcare that is conceived now, I think, only works as a support. So what we are trying to make, and what I think is good AI, that would be helpful for any doctor, for any nurse, for any therapist today is AI that supports the processes that they already have, that make it better, that improve, that help. For example, feature detection in medical imaging, that is not done on its own. It's an improvement. It's made as a support for the doctor that is anyway looking at this image and saying, oh, is there some form of cancer here or no? That is the question that I want to answer. The AI says there might be a form of cancer on the upper left in the image and makes maybe some small border around it and says, here, look at this place. And then, but the doctor is the one saying, yes, that is cancer, we need to treat it, or no, the AI is an error, it's not true. Because the responsibility will never be to the AI or to the computer. The responsibility will always be to the doctor. So any AI that needs to be used to improve clinical processes needs to be a supportive AI for you and never an AI that is built to replace any doctor. In my opinion, that would not work. But thank you for the question. It's very important.
Okay, is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Okay, Dr. Aman. Okay, any questions from the chat? Maybe the issue is the policy of the government, the security of the data, and we should give the data not to the one hospital, but integrate it to the other hospital. That's a very, very risky, right? So what's your opinion for our schematic, what we call that, integrations of the data to hospital and to other hospital? What about that? Because I see that you have two main hospital and you have the satellite hospital. In our country, the record, medical record just for one hospital. We don't share to the other hospital. But after I see your slide, if I'm not mistaken, that the data, you have the integrated medical record to all the hospital for one patient. Maybe can you give me the...
Yes, thank you for the question. Also very important. I think there are two situations to talk about. The example I talked about is a stroke treatment. So this is a time critical and emergency situation. In these situations, the patient cannot give their consent to share the data, which would be the other situation, which I will touch upon later. But in this situation, I think there will be an emergency and data sharing needs to be allowed, but only for this purpose, right? So if the stroke treatment is finished, the data sharing will just stop because the other hospital, maybe the experts in Jena that were consulted by another hospital, they don't need the data of this patient anymore. So data sharing needs to be limited to this certain treatment situation. But there are other situations that are not emergency related. And they are like long-term planned. And then I think the key to all this is just asking the patients for their consent. We have made surveys in Germany asking people on the streets, like, would you be willing to share your data if it would improve your medical treatment? And they would mainly say, yes, of course, I want to do that. I just want to have an opportunity to give my consent. And where is the button I can click? Where is the signature that I can give to just say, hey, you can get my data if it makes it easier for you to treat me and my disease and my problems, then of course I'm willing to share the data. And I think that is the key because many legislative forms or bases all over the world are relying on patients' consent. So this is also a technical question that I think we need to answer about how can this consent be digitized and how can it be used or make usable patient data that needs to be shared, for example, between hospitals or between certain practices and so on. If this can be solved technically, then I think many patients will be willing to give their consent and then data sharing would be allowed. So thank you.
Great, great. Actually, I agree with the integrated data because it's very helpfully for the hospital that give the transfer the critical patients during the COVID-19 So we know the past data before, so we have a great management for the patient. I agree with you, Dr. Aman. Okay, any questions from the offline before we close the first session?
Can
From
I
the
have
chat?
can I have to deliver the question?
Okay, okay,
Moderator?
please.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for
Is
Dr.
it Dr.
Dani
Upi?
Amon. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Upi, yeah. Okay, please.
Okay. Thank you very much for the time, and thank you for the very good presentation, Dr. Dani Amon from Germany. I'm Upi. I completed my doctoral program at Munster University Hospital. Maybe you know that Munster is the part also of Germany. And currently we are making research about the cervical cancer screening and prevention. And we also put the artificial intelligence, and we work with some part in Germany, like with the group of Heidelberg. We work also with the two centers in Indonesia, Sarjito Hospital and Darmais. And we look at right now, because we have to collect about the pathological anatomy examination from the laboratory and from the colposcopy. And we look at our problem is the delivery of non-uniform result, especially from Indonesia, which may be very different in the image quality if we compare with the quality from some centers in Germany. I would like to ask you about what is the biggest challenge to resolve the problems, especially if we want to make the artificial intelligence for the medical imaging that's contained from the various centers in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, very important question also. I think, like you just said, the biggest challenge is that behind artificial intelligence, there is statistics, right? At the end, these are mathematical models that need to be trained, so to speak. And this training relies on a lot of data. That's where the term big data comes into play, right? All the examples I gave you also in my presentation rely on a lot of retrospective data. And I think that is actually really the biggest challenge. Because if you do this training with a certain set of data that is limited to like a certain resolution or just from one country, there might be an effect that's called overfitting, right? The artificial intelligence learns to work only with a certain kind of image, with a certain kind of quality, with a certain kind of data from one country or even just one hospital. It's all been done today. Like there are research groups all over the world that work with just the data from one hospital. And that is actually one of the biggest challenges, that AI needs loads of data. And as you just said, the data is so diverse, especially when it comes to international data sharing. So maybe that would be some kind of precondition that we need to achieve, that the stage where AI is conceived, where it is designed, much of the thinking needs to be put there, because in the end, when you have a product, then it's all been done. Like the model is trained, the AI is ready to work, and it will work good or it won't work as good. It's all statistical probabilities, right? Even AI, they might be correct in 90% of the cases, or they might just be correct in only 70% of the cases. And that depends on how certain AI is conceived and what data is fed into the training stage. And this is actually the biggest challenge, because not only about the technical problems, the image quality, also the patient's consent. Around here, we also do a lot of bioprobe collection for medical research. And then actually, we need the patient's consent for all of that. And many people give it, but it's not enough for many applications of AI to train the model sufficiently. And AI can only improve if we feed more and more data into that. But then again, more and more data is being generated, and also diagnostic products all over the world, they are improving. So it's like I'm a bit torn between just waiting until we get to the data, because some problems will just be solved by time passing, by everything getting better. And then maybe by equipping other strategies, maybe images can already be enhanced before feeding it into an AI. Just like in the example I showed you, where we already enhance our images to make treatment better. Maybe that is an option to like achieve more harmonized set of data all over the world. So we have to develop strategies for determining if data is good enough in the quality to feed it into any AI and to train any model. And that, in my opinion, is really a big challenge. So you're absolutely right. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Dr.
Very
Rupi, is
good,
it clear?
explanation.
Are you satisfied
Yeah,
of
it
the
is clear.
questions? Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe later, because we are still running with the data collection, especially for this year until the next year. So after that, maybe I can also consult to you. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thanks.
Maybe Dr. Aman, Dr. Upi will contact you after this conference. Okay, I think time's up for the first sessions. You want to get a little bit conclude, or I will do it for you?
I think you can do it for me. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the audience, we have a very great presentation from Dr. Amond. As we know that AI and the telemedicine, we should bring out the best of them by support the collaborations of AI developers, physicians, doctors, specialists, consultants, and the policy makers, so governments. So we have a very good and very great AI and telemedicine. Thank you, Dr. Aman. Give applause to him.
Thank you.
Bye, and we hope we have another occasions with you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, we have the second speaker already here, Prof. Malika, on the screen. Please, the committee, can you help me? We have our second speaker, Prof. Malika Imwong. I give you a little bit information about her because she's really great researcher, and she has a Master of Science in Environmental Biology and PhD in a Tropical Medicine from Mahidol University in 2021. Her professional experience began in 2018. Since then, Prof. Malika has changed 2 companies in the same role currently. She works as a head of a malaria molecular laboratory at Mahidol University, and she's have a very established malariologist. It's a very rare field, yeah, with numerous awards recognizing her achievements in malaria research. She won national malaria patients. So if we don't, we have a patient that maybe don't have asymptomatic. And also in 2022, she received the National Research Award for fiscal year 2022. And the title of the award is Elimination of Plasmodium falciparum in Thailand from Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kingdom of Thailand. Okay, let's us hear now the presentation from Prof. Malika, and the title is Prospective Malaria Diagnostic for Early Detection, Differentiation and Drug-Resistant Genotyping. Screen is yours. Prof. Malika.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me well?
Very clearly and very beautifully, Prof. Malika. Please, screen is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for very nice introduction. And I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to join and present my work in this meeting. It is my great honor. So the topic for today, I will cover on asymptomatic malaria infection and drug resistance. I am sorry, I can move my PowerPoint.
Okay, just a moment, Prof. Maybe you can share a little bit about your project before we help you to the slide. The IT will give a little bit, Just
is it okay right now?
You reload it again. You offers
So,
and share again. Okay, the slide is already here, and I can see the
okay,
slide.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is very kind of you. Thank you so much. So this is about malaria. This figure represents malaria endemic area in gray color. As you can see, the most high incident rate of malaria is in Africa. We also do have malaria in Southeast Asia. There are about 200 million malaria cases and 600,000 malaria deaths worldwide. The green color represents the country certified malaria-free by WHO, and WHO aim to cut malaria incident and mortality by year 2030. So in order to eliminate malaria, we need to know that who are infected and where are they. We can think of malaria as an iceberg that we can see only the top of the iceberg. For the critical cases, but we do not know a lot on asymptomatic cases. So basically, we underestimate the epidemiology of malaria in low transmission area. So what is asymptomatic malaria? Asymptomatic malaria is the subject who carry parasite load but do not show clinical symptoms. So can we test that? Can we measure the density of malaria parasite load in asymptomatic infection? Yes, we can, but with the limited of sensitivity or detection of microscopic and RDT. So we decide to use the PCR or molecular technique in order to measure and to determine, to detect the asymptomatic infections. So again, here give you more detail on how asymptomatic malaria diagnosed. So for clinical cases, we use rapid diagnostic test, microscopic, and molecular technique, PCR, normal PCR. We have developed a high volume qPCR that can detect down to 20 parasites per microliter. So this is 2,500 times higher sensitive than the conventional one. This assay can also identify malaria species, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium aureus, and Plasmodium nosai. So in order to see who are asymptomatic subject and where are they, so we have collaborated with many organizations to collect blood sample over 5 years from 60 in total 60,000 samples. We collect blood sample from all individuals in the village from 274 villages by under the collaboration of SMIU collecting blood sample from northwestern of Thailand, from also from Myanmar, under the collaboration of Mok Kru, also from Laos, Suvarnakhet, Laos, under the collaboration of Lom Lu, from Cambodia, under the collaboration of Khomru, from many villages from Pailin, Praviha, and Patambang. We use a high volume qPCR to determine and to measure parasite load in these asymptomatic patients. As you can see here from the figure, each bar chart represents the data, the qPCR result, the high volume qPCR result from each village. Some village has asymptomatic infection as high as 78%, but we do not see asymptomatic infection in some village. As you can see here, there are many species. The red color represents Plasmodium falciparum. The green represents the Plasmodium vivax. For pink, it represents the Plasmodium malariae, and blue represents Plasmodium ovale infection. We observe 39% of Plasmodium falciparum, 50% of Plasmodium vivax, 6% of Plasmodium malariae, 2% of Plasmodium ovale. We also can measure the parasite load in this asymptomatic infection. There are about 19 parasites per microliter for falciparum and 11 parasites per microliter for Plasmodium vivax. So we learned that from the study that asymptomatic infections are quite high in some villages. So how can we eliminate malaria? Can we intervene there? Can we use mass drug administration to eliminate these parasites, especially for Plasmodium falciparum? This study led by Dr. Chondi from SMIU conduct he and his team deploy the mass drug administration using dihydroartemisinin piperocin in eastern Myanmar. And after deployment of mass drug administration, the study, the project has been followed up everybody in the village for more than 2 years to see the result of mass drug administration. As you can see here, the incident rate before and after mass drug administration are big different. There are 5 times decrease after mass drug administration. As you can see, the reduction of malaria infection after the deployment of the treatment. And in about 100 villages, these parasites were free from malaria for about 6 months. So therefore, the answer for this is Of course, mass drug administration can help eliminating malaria in this area. So there are many more research questions on the characterization of asymptomatic infection, such as how long are infections carried? Does it contribute to malaria transmission? Is there any evidence of asymptomatic primate malaria in humans? Does it contribute to the resistance of Plasmodium falciparum parasite pool? In order to answer those questions, we collaborate with Dr. Nguyen from Vietnam to follow the asymptomatic infection for about 2 years without intervention. So this without mass drug administration, without any intervention, we just monitor the parasite as in the whole, everybody in the village to see how long infection carries. As you can see here from the figure that 20% of Plasmodium falciparum and 60% of Plasmodium vivax can be carried for more than 4 months. And at some point, the parasite can be developed into a much higher density, which are likely to sustain malaria endemicity. So therefore, to answer how long infection carry, the answer is it can be carried for more than 4 months for both falciparum and vivax infection without any intervention. So after maintain it, is it possible to transmit? Does it contribute to malaria transmission? This work were done in Brazil, Papua New Guinea, and Thailand. It was found that 70% of Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax were identified using surface marker 25 PVS 25 and PFS 25 qPCR. And the gametocyte density were highly correlated with the parasite density. So therefore, this asymptomatic infection can develop to be a gametocyte and can be transmitted. So therefore, the answer is it can be transmitted to other in the population. It transmissible. These asymptomatic infections are transmissible. So another research question, is there any evidence of asymptomatic infection in humans? In primate malaria. So in our study, we also observed 8 Plasmodium nocai and 11 Plasmodium nocai, which usually occur, the national host is the monkey. We identify those in Pailin, Patambang, Western Cambodia, in the subject who live close to the forest, which is close to the natural host, Macaca fascicularis. The genome parasite density of Plasmodium nocai is 59 parasite per microliter, and for Cynomolgi is 3.6 parasite per microliter. So therefore, we observe nocai and Cynomolgi primate malaria infection in this asymptomatic infection as well. So does it contribute to the resistant Plasmodium parasite pool? I will cover this in molecular epidemiology of resistance to current anti-malarial drug. As you can see from the figure, Southeast Asia is where anti-malarial resistance occurs. It happened twice in the past for chloroquine and sulfadoxine pyrimethamine. It originated in Thai-Cambodia border and then spread to other parts of the world, including Africa, which result in many children die in Africa. Artemisinin is first-line drug for malaria treatment. However, artemisinin resistance in Plasmodium falciparum has already developed. It was observed in year 2009 in Pailin, Cambodia. It was observed the delay in the clearance of malaria parasite from bloodstream after artemisinin combination therapy. You can see here that the parasite clearance time in Pailin, Cambodia are much longer than in Wang Pa, Thailand. So therefore resistance occur and reported in year 2009, led by Professor Arjen Dondrup. So what do we know about the molecular mechanism of artemisinin resistance? What genes are involved in artemisinin resistance in Plasmodium falciparum? It was found that the mutation in the gene called KEL gene located on chromosome 13. Once mutation occurs, it associated with artemisinin resistance. The function of this gene is involved in antioxidative response. We now use KEL mutation as a molecular marker to identify resistance in Plasmodium falciparum. So what happened? What is the prevalence and distribution of artemisinin resistance? We collaborate with many organizations to collect blood sample over 14 years from 30 sites in Southeast Asia and also in Africa for more than 15,000 samples. This including Thailand under collaboration of SMIU and Ministry of Public Health, Komru in Cambodia, Lomlu in Laos, Ramu in Bangladesh, Mokku and SMIU from Myanmar, also from Chad, from Kinshasa, from Congo, from Africa, and also from Afghanistan as well. After testing KEL mutation in this set of samples for more than 8,000 samples, we observed mutation in KEL gene in this parasite. The important point mutation is at 580, as shown in red color, as you can see here. Each pie chart represents the result, the frequency of mutation result in each village we collected at different time period. As show you an example of the result from Cambodia, we observe the increasing of C580Y, which is shown in red color, over time from year 2007 until year 2017. This is from Pailin, Cambodia. As you can see here, these C5XGY mutation were observed most in the eastern of Thailand compared to western of Thailand. There were this mutation as well in Kayin, Myanmar. Another important point mutation is mutation at 446I, which show in purple color. We observe them quite frequent in Myanmar, but lesser in the eastern of Thailand, lesser in like in this part, in the western part of Thailand. So as you can see here, there are many places of resistant parasite. So is there any spreading of the resistant parasite? How many origins do resistant parasite have? We did the microsatellite at the flanking region of Kyoto to answer those questions. We observed that they are the same parasite from Pailin, Cambodia, from eastern Thailand, southern Laos, and also southern Vietnam. So these are spreading of the resistance from this part, from this region, on C580Y mutation. However, when we look at the mutation, this parasite again here in the western Thailand, there are different parasites. So there is no evidence of spreading from eastern to western. This is good news. For 446I, the parasites are quite the same on the northern and central Myanmar. How about in Africa? Has artemisinin resistance emerged in Africa? These are the results from the publication report. Over 10,000 isolates. There were more than 100 mutations in Africa. However, not all mutations associated with artemisinin resistance. I would like to bring your attention to two important mutations in KELP gene, which is at position 469 and 675 from Uganda. They do observe that quite high. So how about the clinical outcome? How about the parasite clearance half-life of these two mutations? In this study, it was observed that there were 14 isolates obtained these two mutations among 240 infections. The parasite clearance half-life are longer than 5 hours, and this is confirmed resistant. So therefore, we have the evidence of mutation and clinical outcome of resistance of artemisinin in Plasmodium falciparum in Africa. So is there any mutation? Is there any possibility of spreading resistant parasite from Asia to Africa? Do we observe these mutations in Asia? Yes, we observe these mutations, these two mutations, but very low frequent in Southeast Asia, only 4 and 5%. So is there any possibility of spreading between two continents, between Southeast Asia and Africa? So we then did the microsatellite genotyping at the flanking region? To answer this question, to compare the pattern of Southeast Asia and African sample on the mutation at 469 and mutation at 675, we confirm that there is no evidence of spreading between these two regions. So this is good news. So how do we treat malaria resistance? Resistance has already occurred. How do we treat it? We still use artemisinin-based combination therapy. Artemisinin-based combination therapy is the combination of two or more drugs that work against malaria parasite in the different mechanisms. This figure represents the dynamic parasite killing activity of artemisinin and partner drug. The y-axis represents the total parasite in the body. The blue color represents the artemisinin sensitive parasite. After 3-day treatment, over 2 cycles of malaria infection, artemisinin kills most of the parasite, bearing about 10,000 parasites in the body. However, in artemisinin-resistant parasite, it left alone about 100,000 parasites in the body. So therefore, the partner drug is left alone to kill the remaining major population and increase risk of treatment failure. The artemisinin-based combination therapy are including dihydroartemisinin piperacin, artesunate mefloquine, and artesunate lumefantrine. So what do we know about the molecular mechanism of this dihydroartemisinin piperacin resistance? Or what are the molecular markers associated with dihydroartemisinin piperacin failure? It was found that gene amplification and mutation play important role associated with the resistance. Once gene amplification occurs in gene named plasmepsin-2, and once mutation occurs in gene named chloroquine-resistant transporter, it associated with the increasing risk of recurrent infection in dihydroartemisinin piperacin. So we use gene amplification of plasmepsin-2 gene and mutation of CRT as molecular marker to evaluate dihydroartemisinin piperacin resistance. We using these plasmepsin-2 gene amplification and also CRT mutation to measure the sample we have among 8,000 samples from many places. The red color represents the resistant parasite. As you can see here, same here, each pie chart represents the result of the mutation in each villages over time. You can see here that the red color are more common in the eastern of Thailand compared to western. There were few resistant genes in Kayin, Myanmar, but they are not resistant parasite, we believe that this is background mutation. So therefore, this data show that there is no evidence of piperacillin resistance in the western of Greater Mekong subregion, and therefore dihydroartemisinin piperacillin can be used outside eastern of the Greater Mekong subregion. So how about in Africa? Again here, this is from publication report, over 1,500 isolate. They observe gene amplification or resistant parasite in Burkina Faso, in Uganda, and also in Mozambique. However, further evaluation or further investigation are needed in order to confirm whether are these real resistant or not. So how about artesunate and mefloquine resistance? What do we know about this? What gene involved in artesunate mefloquine resistance? What are the molecular markers? It was observed that it was found that gene amplification in multi-drug resistant one associated with the increasing of resistance in artesunate mefloquine failure. The more gene amplification, the more recurrent infection. So we use MDR1 or multi-drug resistant gene amplification as a molecular marker to monitor resistance of artesunate mefloquine. Again, here we tested that in the sample we have to see whether is there any resistance to artesunate mefloquine. The red color represents resistant parasite. It was found that recently there were low prevalence of resistant parasite in Southeast Asia. So therefore, this data reassuring for the continued efficacy of artemether lumefantrine, which is the first line drug in Myanmar and Laos. So we still can use artemether lumefantrine and also artesunate mefloquine. Last but not least, I have a great opportunity to work with Dr. Farindira Vestit Ramasali from UMY. It's my great pleasure, very bright student, very clever, work so hard under many collaboration, many organizations, under collaboration with many organizations, and also under the collaboration with Professor Din and Professor and Dr. Fuji. It's my great honor on that. So I have a great opportunity to do that. Dr. Farindila, or we call her Indi, has conducted a study, leaded on the study to see the to determine the resistant gene of the Plasmodium falciparum in Sumba and also in Papua. In Sumba, the archive sample were from year 2010 and year 2018, and in Papua, the sample were collected recently in year 2020 and year 2021. As dihydroartemisinin piperacillin has been used as first-line anti-malarial treatment over 14 years in Indonesia. So it is interesting to see what is the situation of drug resistance in this area. After testing, it was found that there were 13 and 17% of gene amplification or resistance, 17% in the sample from Sumba, 13% in the sample from Papua. However, for MDR1, which is molecular marker for mefloquine, are quite low, only 3.8%. For piperacillin are quite high, I mean 13 to 17%. However, when look at the clinical outcome, it observed late parasitological failure 8%. Therefore, it confirmed that dihydroartemisinin piperacillin is still effective in these two areas. This work highlighted the need of alternative drug for piperacillin in this region. And I would like to share to you all that this work has already accepted recently, which is very good news in Malaria Journal, and it is published online by today. Good day. Congratulations for Dr. Indy and her team and Indonesia, and also good news for the effective of dihydroartemisinin piperacillin. So you may also ask that, oh, if we want to monitor it over time, is there any changing of resistant mutation over time? We did that in Cambodia, observed more than 600 samples on the resistant gene. Cambodia has been deployed, has introduced artesunate mefloquine until year 2010, and then changed to dihydroartemisinin piperacillin until year 2015 and 16. After that, it changed back to artesunate mefloquine. So what happened to the resistant gene, to the resistant parasite? You can see that after deployment of dihydroartemisinin piperacillin, there were increasing of resistant parasite, increasing of mutation in CRT, in chloroquine resistant transporter, and gene amplification in plasmepsin 2T gene. And once it replaced by artesunate mefloquine, these result parasites are decreasing. It's obvious that the resistant parasite closely follow drug pressure over time in Cambodia. So you may ask that, is there any parasite obtain all resistant mutation, very super resistant parasite? Do we have that? Look at the double resistance first on plasmepsin 2,3 and MDR1 gene amplification. Among 6,000 parasites, there were only 3 parasites obtain both mutation. How about triple super resistant parasite? All 3 resistant gene, triple resistant mutation. Among 500 samples, none of them show combination of all 3 resistant genes. We propose that the mechanism conferring mefloquine and piperacillin resistance may be counterbalancing, and this support the development of triple artemisinin combination therapy on using artesunate mefloquine plus piperacillin. So we are testing those clinically in Africa and also in Asia. We are conducting this study. So in summary, asymptomatic infection can can contribute to malaria endemicity. The genetic epidemiology of artemisinin and partner drug is evolving all the time, so we need to monitor it. And monitoring the genetic marker of resistance can help malaria elimination. I would like to thank our funding agency, Bill Melinda Gates, Wellcome Trust, UKAID, 5% Initiative, our Ministry of Public Health, Mahidol University, and also Thai Funding Agency. And thank you very much for the all collaborators who contribute to this work. Thank you so much. So again, last but not least, thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Malika. The audience, any questions from the offline? We have maybe two or three questions. Okay, just one question from the offline. And we have a question from the chat. Or maybe you want to directly ask the questions? Okay, yeah, offline first.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, Professor. My name is Muhammad Kemal Pasha Al-Ghani. I'm a young doctor from Panambahan Senopati Hospital in Bantul, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. So I would like to ask you two questions about malaria. The first question is it possible to eradicate the malaria? And then the second question is, what are the biggest challenges in dealing with malaria, especially in just like some tropical countries, just like in Thailand, Indonesia, maybe, or there's the other countries in Southeast Asia. Thank you.
Is it clearly, Prof. Malika, the question?
For the second question, again,
second question.
Okay,
maybe you can, yeah.
Yeah, so my second question is, what are the biggest challenges in dealing with malaria, especially in tropical countries, just like in Thailand, in Indonesia, or maybe some other Southeast Asia countries? Thank you.
For the resistance?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for the resistance or for the management?
No, doctor, just what are the biggest challenges?
Oh,
is it the mutation, or maybe is it the transmission, or maybe the resistance?
Oh, I see. The transmission, yeah. Especially, Prof. Malika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the question. This is very, very good question. I mean, you have a question on the core or the aim of the WHO, as the WHO aim to eliminate malaria by year 2030. So of course we can eliminate malaria, but it may take some time, and it need all the effort from everybody to help to eliminate malaria. So this is the answer for the first question, whether can it be eliminate malaria? Yes, it can, but it really need support from everybody, from our researcher, from national policy guideline, also from people who are in the village, all the doctor, and also all everybody who participate in the program. So this is the first question. For the second question, what is the biggest challenges in terms of malaria transmission? I learned a lot that there in the study from Thailand we involved with, that there were an increasing of the outbreak in Ubon Ratchathani in year 2014, 15, from like 200 parasites, 200 isolate. But later, after outbreak, after 1 month, the number of malaria infection were increasing up to like 5,000, 4,000, 5,000, and end up like 8,000 malaria cases at the end of the year. So outbreak of malaria transmission in Thailand happened a few years ago. And with help of Ministry of Public Health and everybody in the team, they put the campaign on reduction of transmission of people who visit the forest. A few months later, after they put it very hard on that scenario to limit people who the one who go to the forest, work in the forest. Therefore, at the end, it results in a few months later, number of malaria cases were reducing rapidly. So therefore, I agree that the vector control and limitation of approach, I mean the interaction of human to vector in that area play an important role for malaria transmission and for malaria control. So therefore, the biggest challenge will be also not only molecular work or research work, but also the involving of everybody in real situation in the community to approach to vector control as well. Vector control is most important if we can control that, it can of course limit infection and also can result in malaria elimination in the region. Is it clear?
Yes. Okay, Prof. Malika, is it clear?
Yes, it was
Actually, it's very difficult to control the human movement, yeah, Prof. Because that you say that the key is a movement of the human. Okay, any questions maybe? Okay, please. Maybe one more question, Prof?
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to know, is it possible to prevent the resistance of malaria, of drug malaria, by using a rotation of the drug by the drug use rotation, such as in the preventing of the resistance of insecticides by the drug rotation to prevent the resistance of malaria drugs.
Maybe you mean the prophylaxis of the drug?
No,
or
not prophylaxis, but the rotation of the kind of
cycle of the
rotation usage of the drug anti-malarial drug.
Yes. Okay.
Is it possible?
Oh, the prevention
to prevent the resistance.
Is it clear, Prof. Malika? Yeah. She asked you that any prevention for the transmission of the malaria to become the we call that resistance by see the circle usage of the patients with that drug. So we can know that the drug is resistant because of the use of the patient in that circle, or what we call that transfer the drug to one place to the other place and usage by the patients. Can we use that as a prevention?
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the question. Great question again. Yes, of course, we can we do that in Cambodia. So we take turn. I mean, using drug treatment, like they keep changing drug policy. Such as over some period, they have been given artesunate mefloquine, and then after over time, it changed to dihydroartemisinin piperacin in order to keep balancing of pressure, drug pressure in that villages. So the answer is yes, of course, we do that as well. We learned that from Cambodia as well, keep changing the treatment, and it help malaria, it work, it effective against those parasites, and it help malaria elimination. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Is it clear?
Yes, thank
for
you.
the answer, yeah.
Thank you very
So
much.
the first line, second line is not good for the malaria. So we should change the drug for the resistant malaria.
Yeah.
I think that's I get from Prof. Malika. Is it correct? We have one question from the chat. After that, we finish for the question answer for Prof. Malika. Can you send? Can you send? Yeah. Okay. Prof. Malika, there is a first malaria vaccine approved by WHO last year, November 2022. What do you think about the vaccine, whether this vaccine could be applied in the drug-resistant area? This is from Sultan Arifin. Please, Prof. Malika.
Yep, thank you so much for the question. Very great question again for malaria vaccine. Yes, of course. The effective of those vaccines are about 30%, and they are using mostly they are testing more clinical trial, bigger trial. They are conducting the bigger trial in Africa, but those vaccines are provided mainly for children. So, of course, malaria vaccine can be very helpful for malaria elimination, but start mainly in Africa first.
Okay, is it for all the phase of the malaria or the species, or just one species from the Africa, Prof. Malika?
Just one species from Africa.
Oh, just one species. Okay, maybe that's clear answer. I think that's enough for this session, Prof. Malika. Very nice discussion and great presentation. We give applause to her. See you next occasion, Prof. Malika. But actually, just stay. We have another speaker at last. And he already wait here with us. Is it a long time? Yes, thank you, Prof. Malika. Is it a long time, Prof. Lang? Yeah. You can prepare the slide of Prof. Lang, and I will give the little bit information about him. Prof. Lang is from the biomedical engineering from the National Yangming University, Taiwan. Afterward, Prof. Lang continued his postdoctoral training at the Information Technology Research Center of Sports and Health
Institute of Intelligent Machines, Chinese Academy of Sciences, China. He had developed advanced instrument for rehabilitation research, and he also have 12 peer-reviewed journal articles, 1 book, 2 book chapters, and 19 proceeding papers. His work is on the interface pressure distribution between human and orthosis and its role on soft tissue injury. Is it correct? And he is interested in human-machine interface and its application for the design of sport biomedical device and technologies. He also have a very great as a supervisor because his students have received award from Taiwan Sport Technology Development Association in sports technology innovation design competition as the best award, and the title is ultrasonic probe stabilizer to evaluate fetal muscle activity. It's difficult, right? Okay, very great, excellent, Prof. And we give a screen and stage for you, please. You want to? Okay. Oh, you want to? Okay, good. You want? Oh, this. Yeah, yeah. Just a moment. And the pointer. You can see it. Okay, stage is your pointer. A pointer and mouse, or just a pointer. Okay. Okay, good. Enggak. It's okay, sir. Next. Just keep that laptop here. This laptop here.
is maybe, yeah, okay. Oh.
Okay. Thank you for everyone to join this conference because the time is almost late. So I am very glad to be the last one. And after I listening the first and the second keynote speaker, I was very scared. Why? Because the first is have the very good experience for the clinic. The second one, I just watch his scope and I will consider his publish is very huge. So after I watch his PowerPoint, I will see the figure, the data analysis, the statistic analysis is very difficult. So I believe she should have a lot of publication. So what can I do? What can I provide some new knowledge or concept to you? Because I am the very, I want to say unique. Why? Because when I was, you can see my affiliation. You will know one is for the designer. Another is engineering. So I am combined with the left brain and the right brain combined together. So people will more consider about, okay, so in this study, in these people, what can we do? So let me introduce by myself. Next one. Next. Okay, so today's I want to, the topic is the opportunity and the challenge in the development of the biomedical engineering in health service. So I checked the title, the topics. So I find the two important word is the biomedical engineering and the health service. Next. Next, please. Okay, so what is biomedical engineering? So I just Google and find the image. You will see all of the image is similar like this one. So can you give me the keyword of this image? The keyword is you just can have some concept image for read after you read this picture. Next, please. Maybe you will find the keyword is research, mechanics, electric, and the image process. Maybe you will consider about all of this picture is the mention about that. Next, please. So I Google, and then I just use the Wikipedia. So what is biomedical engineering? So I will see, oh, too bad, it cannot see anything, but that's okay. The biomedical engineering is the application of the engineering principle and the design concept to medical and biology for the healthy purpose. That, for example, is the diagnostic and therapeutic. So let me, next please. Next please. So you will see the most important word is diagnostic and therapeutic. So maybe when we do the biomedical engineering, the purpose should be these two keywords. Next, please. So how about the healthy service? So healthy service, when I use the Google again, then I will find this image. So this image, the keyword should be also the same keyword. Next, please. Yeah, diagnostic and therapeutic. So all of you, I think the audience right now is your purpose should be the two. First is you need to diagnostic, and then you need to provide some therapy for the patient. So that is our purpose. So today I want to introduce how can I do that? How can I do that? Okay, next please. So first, I want to introduce by myself. As I said in the first, in the initial, when I was the bachelor, master, always industrial design. Why I want to interested about the biomedical engineering and focus on it. When I was a PhD student, and I just go to the to find this institute and do the study. You know, in that time, most of the students in that institute should be have his background is engineering or his background is the medical doctor. But I am the designer, so I need to learn in most of the knowledge than other students. So after that, I go to another company to do the industrial. In the 3 years, I go to the government. Today, I just in the morning, I just listening. Some people will say, "Oh, smart government." I think that is very interesting. Why? Because when I was in the other industrial, my purpose is to earn money, to get money income. But when I was in the government, my purpose is to spend money. The most important thing is how to spend money. So that is total different. One is income, another is outcome. So that is total different concept. But that is good for me. So because in that time I know we have a lot of money in government. So we need to know how to get money from them. Okay. So after that, I go to the university and to be the study, to be the researcher. And sometimes I will go to another university to be the visiting scholar because I want to know more about the other things, so that would be better for me. Okay, next please. So in this recently, about the 20 years, I have do a lot of the work and to do the development. So this is really product. For example, this is for the patient in the hospital. They need to have the IV, right? The IV drill. So I just design and development similar this one. And another one is this one that is gait analysis. So when the people working on it, you will know what problem with them. And I want to say, walking is very important. If the patient cannot walk in, that means the exercise will decrease. If the exercise decrease, that will not improve their health. So that is the bad news. So walking is very important. So I just developed this instrument, similar like that. Or I saw this is Mandarin, but you just need to know this is about we call that is smart shoes. Why? Because they can detect a lot of information from it. Okay, next please. So this is my publication. Next please. Okay, next please. Okay. Next, this I want to say this one because in Asian University I am the ranking. I don't know. I didn't really know what the ranking in. I know my ranking in all over the world, but I really didn't know my ranking in my university. So I just search and to find this website, and in our university I'm the 35. So I also sometimes I will compare. So if I am in UMY, how is my ranking. So that is very easy. So you just need to go to this website, and for example, you just go to the Indonesia University, and you will know, okay, UMY University professor, their ranking compare with Indonesia University. Okay, next please. So this is another ranking about the benchmark. So I am the top 7 in all of the world. Next please. Okay, so why I want you from the industrial design to the biomedical engineering, that is, when I was a master student, my topic is the shoe design. So I just do a lot of work on the shoe design, but I will consider why the design is good, the shoes is beautiful, why the price is not compared with the Nike, Adidas. Why? Because for example, the price almost about in Taiwan, the Taiwan brand, the shoes price is the 1 over 10. I want to say Nike is the 10 times price compared with my designer. So I'm very curious why. So then I just go to check the Nike, their pattern, and though I will see that is very, the most important is not the design. The most important thing is about the biomechanics, about the foot and ankle. So then I will know, oh, that is why the Nike shoes is so expensive. So how is it expensive? Next please. You know how much money for this Nike make? Really, this is the similar a car, the car price, right? You wear a car on your shoe, on your foot. The shoes price is similar like the car. So that is very, very expensive. So anyone can buy it? Anyone can order it? Yes, because that is worth. When you wear it, you will feel really comfortable. So I think the main important thing is not design. So I just try to know how can I develop the similar shoes, and maybe in the future I will also be the rich guy. Next please. So you will know the Nike from the long time ago until now. As I know, almost about 30 years, right? Nike with the air insole, almost that. So that is very, very long story. But right now, next please. Next please. So right now we also try to customize by ourselves to do the same work. So this is our study. So I try to know the know-how and to do some research on it. And I hope I will know how to make suitable shoes. So to improve our shoes market. Next, please. Okay, so this is my research history. So from the 2000 until now, almost about 20 years. So why? Because before that time, I was working in industrial. So that is, I didn't do any research. But after that, almost about 20 years, I do about diabetic foot, about the lot of the shoulder pain, lot of the work. Next, please. So this is all of the work from the foot design to about the stiffness, then go to about wheelchair, then go to about the power wheelchair. Then right now I just do about the artificial intelligence. Why? Because the artificial intelligence right now is a lot of people know it, but maybe you were interested about it, but you didn't know how to do that. So I just try to learning it and to do it and use it to publish paper. Next, please. Okay, what I need to say. For example, the iceberg, even like a problem. disease. So if you know it, how can you know it? Maybe you will use the, next please. Maybe you will use the lot of parameter to detect it. For example, like the pressure, heart rate, breath, or body weight, body height. This parameter is totally different, right? After you use this one over the blood test to detect something, whatever, all of it is the obviously you know it, but you didn't know what is the inventive parameter. So that is what I need to say today. We know the traditional parameter, but how can we create a new parameter to evaluate this problem? I want to say the iceberg is a problem, but if you have the new, but they have the lot of the unknown part. So we need to use a very new or very specific parameter to detect it. So that is what I need to do in this 20 year. Next, please. Okay. So how many disease I just survey in this 20 year? First is diabetic foot. Second one is about spinal cord injury. Third is skin scar. Fourth is low back pain. And finally is about Icmhs disease. So, okay, next please. So first is pressure first diabetic. So you will know the regularly, even people will know diabetic foot ulcer is very important problem. So because when I was diabetic, maybe I just need to drink or eat the sugar or something. But finally, maybe your foot will have ulcer and you cannot walk in and you need to lie on the bed and you can not exercise and finally you will be die. So that is the bad news. So about the foot, diabetic should be take care about their foot. So diabetic foot ulcer is very, very huge problem. So I just focus on it. Okay, next please. So first, maybe if you know the diabetic foot, you will know the diabetic foot also have the flat foot, but that is not flat foot. That we call that, but in the diabetic we call that is choco foot. Choco foot that is about the this is a bone just a drop. Navicular bone just a drop. That is about the similar like the flat foot. Okay, so sometimes when we see the bone, as I say, the flat foot, we will consider about the bone problem. So what that is the traditional parameter. So we need to develop a invention, a parameter that is normalization bone coordinate. Next, please. So this is traditional. Next, please. So we need to use the radiographic, like the X-ray, like the MRI, like that of the CT, something to do that. Next, please. So, but we need to, if we use the normalization to do that, next, please. We will mark lot of the point. Next, please. And then we can do this one. After we do this one, what can we do? Next, please. We will know, the main important thing is this foot, this bone drop. So, I know that even your foot size is different with other people, but after normalization, we will know the main problem is in the navicular bone. Okay, so that is the bone angle. Next, please. So about the parameter, plantar pressure. Next, please. So sometimes people will say the central pressure, but if we normalize the central pressure, it would be better. Why? Because we can combine together. Next, please. So this is the traditional parameter. Next, please. So if we normalize with the foot size, next, please. We will know, this is high arch. This is the flat foot. You will know, if you see this figure, you will see the main important thing is in here. So in the forefoot, the flat foot is very smooth, but in the high arch, they have a joke in there. So that is if you see it, you will say, oh, that is if we have some problem in the flat foot. Why? Because we don't have any joke in here. Okay, next please. Okay, we also can, after normalize, we will do another analysis. Next, please. Next. For example, we can we have distance, we have time, so we can do analysis about the velocity and the accelerometer, acceleration. So next, please. So finally, you will know the flat foot is decreased velocity in the middle and increase the velocity in the toe off. Next, please. Okay, so then we just try to find a reference to support our idea. Okay, we find the people walking should have the three rocker. First is heel rocker. Second one is ankle rocker. Third one is forefoot rocker. So about the heel rocker, ankle rocker, and the forefoot rocker, all we will see that is the main problem is in the forefoot rocker. So we will we know the problem and we can try to therapy it. Next, please. Okay, next, please. So how about the plantar region pressure? Next, please. So yes, everybody know it. Next, please. Everybody know it because you can see a lot of paper similar like that. Next, please. But if we combine together, you will know the pressure should have a relationship. So from the heel stride to the toe off, you will see the cycle similar like that. So it's similar like a wave, right? So you will so after you check it, you will see how it's different with the different foot type. Next, please. So then we try to use PPP to develop about the pressure gradient and the pressure gradient angle. Next, please. So this is pressure. Next, please. Traditional. This is inventive parameter. Everybody know this. This is similar like the forecast. You will know, oh, this is high pressure, this is low pressure. They have the wind. Next, please. We will also to simulate the foot forecast. For example, here is high pressure, here is low pressure. What it is? This is pressure gradient. Pressure gradient is the higher pressure and the lower pressure should have the vector. So we can do that. So for example, like this one, this is the flat. This is have the higher gradient. So should have the answer in here. Okay, next please. Okay, you will see if you have acceleration in the left or right. If you have acceleration in this region, you should have the answer in the left side. Why? Because this is very sharp. So high pressure and low pressure will tear the skin. High pressure, low pressure, tear the skin. So your foot will have the answer. So next, please. Next. So we also, after do that, we will publish the paper in the 2022 and to know, oh, that is different about the angle or about the gradient. A gradient is totally different. If the gradient, we can find it, we will easy to know the pressure as a point. We can predict, I want to say predict the answer point. Next, please. Okay, this is another about the gradient angle. The gradient angle is we always, for example, if we always punish in this one point, should have the answer. But if we just punish 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, not one point, it should will share the pressure loading. So that would be better. So for the left side and the right side, which one will be high risk of the answer? Right side. Why? Because you always punish on the one point. So if the angle, the pressure gradient angle should be changed, that would be better. So that is our finding. Next, please. So also we also use this concept, this new inventive parameter to do the research and to evaluate it and publish paper. Next, please. Okay, young smarter. Everybody know it. No, yeah, everybody know it. That is the high school physics. Next, please. But we do the effective young smarter. This is traditional young smarters. Next, please. So, but we try to use the ultrasound and to make the elastography. So, next, please. So you will see when I push it, there should be the tissue should be compressor on compressor, compressor on compressor. In that time, we will know the softer is stiffness or the soft tissue should be more stiffness or softer. Next, please. So after compress, uncompress, compress, loading, unloading, loading, unloading. Next, please. Okay, next, please. We can simulate young margins of the soft tissue. Next, please. Okay, use this formula. We can create another parameter. Next, please. That is, we call that is effective young margins. So that is also can fight the new problem. Okay, next one is about the spinal cord injury. We also use the pressure gradient to publish paper. But first, we need to do that. I want to say, in this area, maybe pressure, everybody know it. And if everybody agree it, then we will easy to publish about the gradient. But in this field, that is the new. Why? Because the spinal cord injury, that is few people focus on the pressure ulcer. Few people, the research few people. So first, we need to let other people to know pressure is very important. So maybe they will accept the gradient concept. Next, please. So that is, I also repeat the same strategy in the foot in the spinal cord injury. Next, please. Okay, you will know why the wheelchair, when the spinal cord injury people will have the ulcer, because the ulcer is not on the foot, the ulcer is on their bottom. When they sit on the chair every day, every month, every year, they should have the ulcer in the ischio and the coccyx. Coccyx is in here, and the ischio is in here. So you should have the ischio tuberosity, have the ulcer in here, or coccyx have the ulcer. So we try to use the different situation to develop it. Next, please. So first, as I said, we need to approve pressure is important. So right now is another question. How about the pressure size? How about we measure the pressure size? So we do the small size and the big size, and then publish paper. Next, please. Next. Then we apply the gradient. So in this figure, you are easy to know. This is pressure. This is pressure, have the higher pressure, but this is okay because this is blood vessel. This is okay. But when the gradient, if they have the gradient similar like this one, this is a high gradient. This is the field gradient. So you will see that it's stuck in here. So why the ulcer will be happen? Because the blood vessel will stuck in one location, one place. So that will increase the risk of the ulceration because the nutrition is not good in there. Next, please. Okay, so we also use the same strategy in another field about for example, the skin scar. Next, please. So when people have some traffic accident or some surgeries, maybe they have the ulcer in their body, so they are very worried about they are not beautiful, so they want to try to heal it. So maybe we can I want to say this is another concept. When massage, everybody know it. If you have the scar in here, what you can do just every day, every time to touch it, to massage it, and then that will be better. But you will know your massage, your loading is not constant. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's light, so that is not good. But if you use the negative pressure that is always have the same force, so that would be better. So we use about the negative pressure and to do this one. So always use the constant pressure. That would be better. Why? Because some lower this pressure is not working. Over would be have some problems. So suitable negative pressure should be better. Next, please. So we try to use this one. Next, please. And to find the effective Young's modulus. And in this study, we further, Young's modulus, effective Young's modulus. That is, we found that it would be better. So right now, we try to, in this year, we try to detect the E1, E2, E3. Next, please. What is E1, E2, E3? E1 is 5% of the sickness, 10 and 15. So in this time, we will find another paper that is about the toe, that is about the toe region, heel region, and the linear region. So we will see, maybe in the effect Young's modulus, we can detect the 3 different regions. And about the scar, that is important. Why? Because the scar is very thin. It's on the skin. So we can try to use this parameter to detect which one is better. Next, please. Okay, in the low back pain. Next, please. We just use because as I said, artificial intelligence is very famous in recently. So I try to use this one to detect other disease. For the low back pain, I'm not the first publication, but I am almost about the 5 or 10. Why? Because in that time when I do this one, 2020, no one do that. Few people do that. So I can use this parameter because even in that time, lots of people use deep learning. But I am the earlier researcher to use this parameter on the low back pain. Next, please. So we try to use the deep learning YOLO version 3 to do that. Version 3 in that time is a news, but right now it's too old. Okay, but in that time we just published the paper to detect the discal herniation. Next, please. Okay, we can easy to detect about this one, but we just further to do that. Because I said in the 2021, in that year, YOLO 3 is the news. But in the 2023, 5, 6, 7 version is have appeared. So we just use this one to do that. Then we also publish again. Next, please. So about Alzheimer's disease. Next, please. Okay. Alzheimer's disease, that is the main problem about the memory. You will forget something. But the main problem is the brain size is reduced. The brain size reduced. The brain size reduced, they will have some problem with the neural something. Next, please. The main important thing is hippocampus. Okay, next, please. So we try to use this method to, because the hippocampus, this organ is in the middle, so we try to use the selecting slice, this method to find it. Next, please. Then that is almost in this area. Next, please. Okay, so all of my study is try to use the new parameter to find the potential problem. No, not potential risk, because problem is in there, but people didn't know what is the main risk. So I try to use the new parameter to do that. Next, please. So I want to say I want to translate today is the, for me, how can we evaluation the healthy problem? Maybe we can use the traditional parameter, but I want to tell you, everybody know it. In the hospital, the medical doctor, the nursing, the technology engineer always do use that. Maybe you cannot publish paper, you cannot do the research, you cannot improve the science technology. So how can you do that? Maybe you can create an inventive parameter. Same like me, I just to create about the normalized bone coordinate or normalized central pressure or pressure gradient angle, and efficiency modules. And but the last two is I just use other parameter, but applied in the old disease. So for me, I think that is the new parameter. Okay, next. Next, please. So all of my speech is the above. So I think I hope everyone can really understand how to improve your not improve our knowledge, improve the human knowledge. When you want to improve the human knowledge, you need to do some work. The work is maybe that is the new parameter. Maybe this parameter is under the old parameter. You just need to do something. For example, like me, all of the parameter is in there, is old, but I just do something, do some calculate, and then I can find a new parameter, and I use it to help the big doctor, help the nursing to improve their diagnosis and therapeutic. Okay, that is all. Thank you.
Yeah. Give applause to Professor Long. Maybe you can sit here. Okay. Any question from the chat, from the Zoom or offline? Maybe 2 or 3 questions, please. It is very interesting, yeah, for our critical, because as we know that the answer from the patients that have 24 hours on bed, and we know the problems, but we difficult to solve that problems. Yeah, that's why now in our critical patients we have like what we call that air. Like a foam, but not too very hard for the patient. Okay, any questions? Please? Okay, please. Okay, Bu Falsifah here. Okay. The mic, please. Give mic, okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Walasifa Yuniarti, or usually Fahni call me Ifa. Okay, my question is, it's about the kecepatan apa lupa? The way we walk. Yeah, usually we walking faster and also slowly. So which one is better for our health? And because like this, as I know that our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he walked faster. So then I asked Fahni about it a while ago. Then because I interested to your research about the ankle and the parameter of it. So I remember that our Prophet do this. So what? How is the scientific of it? Thank you very much.
Okay, good question. I ask you, in the running, When outside is raining,
Okay.
walking fast is good or walking slowly is good?
Uh,
Raining.
of course,
Rainy,
faster.
rainy.
Faster, I think.
Faster. Everybody
Yeah.
know that it would be faster, but as the science report, fast, when you walking fast,
Yeah.
you will have a lot of the force on the rain, so you
Yes.
will,
Yeah.
so slowly will be better.
Oh yeah, because of the raining. So
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Like
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
drive motorcycle.
Yes, yes.
That is heavy, the raining on it, so
Yeah.
that is not good. Okay, good question. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
I want to tell you, this is the good question because yesterday we just did discussion with my friend. As our result, I want to say a parameter, gradient angle. The gradient angle, that means if I just, this is the soft tissue, and if I always, okay, similar like our sofa. If in your home, you also have a sofa, right, or a bed, you always sit in one location. For example, 10 years, 5 years, this should be have the uncover, right? It will not uncover.
Yeah.
So that should be have the problem. So the soft tissue is similar like that. When we always punish in one location, it's not good. So what is gradient angle? Gradient angle is punish this one. They will change, punish this one. Yes, we cannot avoid our body weight because our body weight is in there. We cannot avoid it, but we can change the loading location, the loading place. And if we change it, that would be better. Okay, back to your question. Walking slowly or walking fast? When I walking fast, for example, this one, the foot position, if we walking fast, it changed to here, then go back. They change to here, then go back. They change, I want to say, they punish in here and they punish in here, then go back. Because go and back, that is cycle. Walking is a cycle. Go and back, go and back. But if you walking slowly, go and go and go and back and back and back. That is slowly, right? Say again. Walking faster, go back, go back. But when you walking slowly, go, 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 back, back, back. So that would be better. So in this time, your loading is shared to another soft tissue. So that would be better for you. So the response right now, until now, in my opinion, walking slowly would be better because that will share your loading. Your body weight cannot share. You cannot share your body weight. So, but you can slowly you're walking. So then your foot ulcer will decrease the risk because you just share the loading in another soft tissue area. Okay, that's in my response.
Okay, thank you.
Is it clearly, or you want to ask questions?
May I? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So how kecepatan apa? Oh, speed, yeah. What about the speed? Which is the better?
Yeah, actually, this is a good question because I know this question 3 years ago, and I do the research on it. Then I suppose it's about I forgot the really value, but almost about the walking style is similar to this one. I forgot the really value, but we just do the test about 2 years, and then we have a result. But the walking speed is similar like that.
Very slow, yeah.
Yeah, very slowly, very slowly. But I really forgot the it's almost about 3 km per hour. 3 km per hour. That is very slowly. So you know when we take a bicycle, that is almost about 10. No, about the bicycle is almost about 20. About walking, it's about 4. Normal walking is about 4 km per hour. Slow walking is about 2.5 or 3 km per hour, kilometer per hour. Yeah. almost that.
Okay, thank you very much. You are-
Okay, so it's your choice to follow, yeah? You want to slow or faster? Okay, thank you. So any questions from the chat or offline? We have one questions more. Any? Maybe, Prof, you have any ambitious project, next project in 2040 or 2-3 years after you have a very great invention for us? Maybe you have another project you can tell to us? Choose project next? No, I mean just give the spill clue for us. You have any ambitious project besides the project? Yes. Besides this year?
I want to say, you know the ultrasound. How much money for one ultrasound?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe I don't know the Indonesia, but about the should be about 10 million US dollar. I mean US dollar, maybe 10 million US dollar. I guess. No. 10,000, 100,000 maybe. Maybe over the 1 million, whatever. Ultrasound is very expensive. So, but ultrasound is the human made, right? It's not to show it immediately. It should be the human to do that. So right now, I just use the indenter to check the stiffness. So that is the combine the ultrasound, combine the motor unit, combine the load cell, and then that can be a instrument. So then I can, if I combine it and decrease the price, maybe I can sell it. And in that time, maybe you can, if you want to, okay, the market is not for the scalp because that is few people to do that. The market is for the face. If you use some nutrition to do that, you should know how it's effective. So maybe you can use your finger to touch it, or maybe you can use my instrument to use it. So if that can be work, I think that is good market.
Okay. Any questions? Yeah, one question more, yeah, Prof. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so hello, I'm Kemal. I think Dr. Nova touched upon it about the patients in critical care. So in intensive care, they use this, I think, air mattresses, some sort of, not insulated, but it's puffy. So you don't get as much pressure point for the so patients in intensive care, because they lie on the bed all the time, maybe for a long time. So total bed rest, patients in total bed rest. Is that the ultimate solution to maybe ulcer, decubitus ulcer? Is that the term for is that universally accepted term? But you also on your presentation was the spinal cord injury also. So that's one of the ulcers that can occur in patients with total bed rest. So is that the air mattress, is that the ultimate solution, or is there more down the line? Maybe in the future, maybe better to really eliminate those ulcers from occurring in intensive care patients. So thank you.
Okay, I think your question is, I also consider about the 6 years ago, and I do that research. Yes, right now everyone you should have the question. Yes, good. And the question, if you consider this is working to do that or not. As you say, your main problem is not the spinal cord injury. The main problem is the patient. They lie on the bed, right? They have a lot of the ulcer in the shoulder, in the back, or in the here. Patient should have the ulcer in here. So I know that. So I do the research about that. But in that time, we just do about the microcirculation. So in that time, we didn't use about the stiffness. We just used microcirculation. So we have checked it, but we will know as I said, we just know the circulation was decreased, but we didn't know why. Maybe this time, maybe we can know. You know, if we do some therapy, if you have ulcer, good. This ulcer is in here. We just do something in it, and they will heal. But the main problem is we need to predict. Okay, this one should be have ulcer before they have the red area. Yeah, before red. If you see that is red area, that should be have the ulcer. But before red, you should. If you know it, that would be better. So maybe use the gradient. Use the gradient. We are easy to know the bone. Let the soft tissue exercise, and then we can prevent the ulcer appear. So maybe gradient can be the good parameter to detect it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very clear.
Thank you.
Maybe he will be the young researcher next to find what the solution for our critical patient. Any questions? I think it's enough. You want to conclude by yourself, or I will try to conclude it? Huh? I will conclude. Yeah, okay. For the Prof. Lang presentation, we know that a biomedical engineering may be one of the solution for our, because our basic is medical, we have a solution for our patients. So just always, if you have an idea, just prove it, right? Okay, thank you. Give applause to Prof. Lang. Very great. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. We finished our 3 speaker presentations. May their sharing and very compassionate inventions and research will be beneficial for our future as in the medical field. We are very grateful to have you all here, participants from the offline and online, to hear in our plenary sessions. Stay healthy and always happy. And I'm giving it back to the MC. You already have a little bit rest, yeah, for 2 hours. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
What a good discussion. We deliver thank you to all the 3 amazing speakers and our moderator. Wonderful ideas and innovations have been shared, yet new challenges may still approach us. That is why we as a medical personnel must adapt and improvise so that we can be the best doctor for our patient.
We are grateful for all speakers, participant and moderator that has fueled our journey to new innovation and may take us to another level of medicine.
Sadly, we have to end today's discussion due to time limit. But don't worry, there will be a parallel session for tomorrow's agenda.
Before we close today's event, There will be gift giving from Dr. Ardi Pramono to Professor Chi Wen Long, PhD. For Dr. Ardi Pramono and Professor Chi Wen Long, please come forward. Thank you to all audiences who attended in person or have connected from the comfort of your home. Wherever you may be, you are all the real innovators.
And after today's session is end, there will be a documentation session. So please be seated. Okay, so for the documentation session, please all the guests and for the keynote speakers to come forward so we can take the picture together. Okay, reminder. So for all the guests, please come forward so we can take the picture together.
Ladies and gentlemen, as today's event are already closed, I am Resha Aulia and my partner,
Anissa Sani,
as a master of ceremony, saying thank you for your attention and goodbye.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.